Okay, so today we're going to be talking about writing a linear equation, just giving a table. So not doing anything with a graph today, we're just trying to find that linear equation. So remember, a linear equation is going to be written as y is equal to mx plus b, with the two key pieces of information we need being the m, which is our slope, and the b, which is our y-intercept. Okay, so when we look at these tables, we're trying to figure out the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, and then we'd write that as y equals whatever the slope is times x plus whatever the y-intercept is. Okay, so let's look at this first table here. So remember, the slope is your rise over run. So slope is your rise over run. Another way to say that would be the change in y over the change in x. Okay, so what's changing in y over the change in x? So if we look at these tables, you'll see we're given x values and we're given y values. So to find the slope, we just need to figure out what the change in y is and then put that over the change in x. So if we come down here, we look at the first one, we have -1 and 3. Okay, do we change from -1 to 3? Well, 3 is 4 higher, so we added 4. So we added 4 here. Okay, what about 3 to 7? Oh, we added 4. 7, 11, we added 4. So we're adding 4 each time for the y. And then our change in x, from 0 to 1, we added 1. From 0 to 2, we added 1. From 2 to 3, we added 1. Okay, so our change in y is going to be 4. Our change in x is going to be 1. Our slope is going to be 4. Or if we want to write that as a fraction, that would be 4 over 1. Change in y over the change in x. Okay, so now we found our slope. Now we just need to find the b, the y-intercept. Okay, so when I look at a graph, again, I'm just going to draw just a quick graph right here. The y-intercept is the point where it's crossing the y-axis, right? What is our x value at the y-axis? Well, if we go over 1, we're at 1. If we go over to the left, we're at -1. If we're right there at the y-axis, we're at 0. So if we want to find the y-intercept from a table, we want to figure out what y is when x is 0. And it's given to me right here. When x is 0, y is going to be -1. So this is my y-intercept. So to set up my equation, I have y equals my slope, which is 4, or 4 over 1. And I'll write it as 4 over 1 because we like to keep our slopes as a fraction, but you could write it as 4 if it's a whole number, it's fine. Okay, so I'll write it as 4 over 1, and then we have to times that by our x coordinates. Okay, and then our y-intercept is -1, so I could say plus -1, well, but that's the same as also just subtracting 1, right? So I'll just write subtract 1. And that would be our equation for that line that our table is showing. Okay? And again, if I graph that, I'd start at -1 right here. And then I'd go up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1. And see, I'd end up at 3 and 7 and so on and so forth. Okay, so it's just another way of expressing what's happening in this table. And we can graph it that way. Okay, let's see if... let's look at number 5 now. So number 5, again, I'm trying to find my slope and my y-intercept. So if I look, I'm looking for my change in y, and I'm going to put that over my change in x. So if I look from 12 to 20, difference between 12 and 20 is I added 8. Okay, 20 to 28, you add 8. 28 to 36, you added 8. So my change in y is going to be 8. Okay, and then if I look over here at my x coordinates, 1 to 2, I added 1. 2 to 3, I added 1. 3 to 4, I added 1. So my slope is just going to be or 8 over 1. Or 8 over 1. Okay, so there's my slope. Now I need to figure out my y-intercept. But if I look here, there's no, x isn't 0 anywhere here, right? So how could I figure it out without x being 0? Well, I use my slope to figure it out. Okay, if I'm going plus 8 this direction and plus 1 this direction, if I go back 1 from 1, I'd be minusing 1, I'd be at 0, right? So there I am at 0. If I go back this direction, I'd have to minus 8 from 12, right? If I minus 8 from 12, I'm going to be at 4. So when x is 0, y is going to be 4. So now I know my y-intercept. So all I did was I used my slope. I went back the same, ways they were going upwards, going this direction. I just had to go backwards to get to 0. Okay, and then I just had to take away the number. So instead of adding 1, I took away 1. Instead of adding 8, I took away 8, and I got 0 and 4. Okay, so my y-intercept is going to be 4. So to do my equation, it's going to be y is equal to 8 or 8 over 1x. And then it would be plus 4. And that would be my answer right there.